Hello YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you happen to be new here, welcome to the Painted South. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to make a pedestal DIY Dollar Tree bird's nest, and we're also going to do some fun decorating in my foyer. As you can see, it is still cold and rainy here, but we are going to have some nice days ahead, so I want to get ready for spring that is on the way. To make your pedestal DIY bird's nest, you're going to need one of these bowls from the Dollar Tree. I love the detail on this one, but you can use any one that you find or already have on hand. And you're also going to need a glass candle holder or candlestick in the height of your choosing. This one is from the Dollar Tree, and I also have some that I got either at a thrift store or a yard sale for about that much or possibly less. I can't really remember. Now you're going to want to glue these two pieces together, and I'm going to tell you that hot glue does not hold for very long. I ended up having to go back and re-glue both of these using super glue. You can also use E6000 if you'd like, or any other high hold glue. You want to make sure that your glue is completely dry, and once it is, it's time to paint. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I like to layer paint. So here I am mixing Waverly Chalk Paint in the colors Truffle and Mineral as my base coat. I applied one coat of this mixture and let it dry. As you can see, this is where the hot glue let loose, and so I'm painting these pieces separately for now. I'm adding a layer of Waverly Chalk Paint in the color Plaster. You can use any white or creamy ivory white that you have on hand, or any other color that you'd like to use. And I am using a drag brush technique, using the side of my brush to deposit paint on the raised areas. I would recommend taking some sandpaper and roughing up both of your surfaces to allow for better adhesion from your glue, and I would suggest using a quick dry super glue. I do like to distress my pieces, but after I did it here, I didn't really like it, so I took some plaster white and went back over the area where I had to re-glue the base, and I went back over the rest of the piece as well with a little more of that color. To fill in some of the area in the bottom of the bowl, we're going to use these white foam round discs that you can find at the Dollar Tree. You get 2 in a pack, and you're just going to want to secure it to the base of the bowl using some hot glue. Make sure you put the glue around the very rim of the disc so that it actually touches glass in the bottom of the bowl. And then you're just going to want to hold that in place for a few seconds while the glue dries. You can find several different kinds of moss at your local Dollar Tree, and they also carry mosses at places like Hobby Lobby and Michael's. Next, you're going to want to secure your moss with some hot glue. I suggest working in sections and be very careful not to burn your fingers. Now for my nest, I decided to mix 3 different colors of moss together. It gives a lot more variation and interest and texture to the nest. To add more texture, you're going to want to break apart either pieces of sticks or a grapevine wreath and add them to your nest. You can also pick up any little other elements of nature that you find outside in your yard and add them to your nest so it looks more natural. Now I've decided to hot glue all of these little pieces into place just to keep it more secure so that the nest will last for years to come. I decided to add several other little bits and pieces to the nest to make it look more authentic. Now these eggs are very large and out of proportion, so you'll see the size that I use later on in the video. The stores have all of their spring decor out right now, so you can find a huge variety of eggs to use for your nest. For the next pedestal bird's nest, I am using Debi's Design Diary clay-based chalk paints. I used the exact same colors that I used in my last tutorial, so if you happen to have missed that video, I will leave a link to it in the description box below, as well as a list of all of the colors that I used. I did add gold highlights at the end, and I will share that folk art color as well. Now you can choose any color combination that suits your home decor. Just remember to layer, layer, layer. Now for this nest, I'm doing the exact same thing for the most part, but I am going to add a second piece of floral foam so that the eggs or the bird, whatever you decide to sit inside, is going to be a little bit more elevated up out of the nest. I love these little feathers. I believe I found these at Hobby Lobby, and I think they're a great addition to add to your bird's nest. This pedestal bird's nest is going to be in a completely separate room from the other one, and I wanted to give it a little bit of a different look, so I found these wood eggs at Target Dollar Spot, I believe last year. They were only $3 for 6, and I decided to go ahead and stain them with this Danish oil, and then after they were stained, I decided to put a little bit more of that same gold paint on them to make them look like golden eggs. Now it's time to decorate my foyer table. Okay, so I have a grapevine wreath here, and it's fairly large. To this grapevine wreath, I'm going to update it for spring. I use it for all seasons. And I'm just going to take one of these garlands. I'm sure you've seen them everywhere. It is from Hobby Lobby. It's not the drapey one that I have used in my other videos. This one is very springy to me, or I guess you could use it into summer as well. But it's a nice, pretty light green, and I think it's perfect for spring. So what I'm going to do is just wrap it around. I don't know if one will work, so I do have two. And if that doesn't work, I may do something different. So let's see how this works. I'm going to add it to the wreath, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have the garland attached. I just used some floral wire. As you can see, I have a couple holes that I had filled in. But here's how it looks so far. I just wrapped that garland around. It only came down about halfway, and that's okay, so I'm going to add stuff to the bottom. And then I went ahead and attached this basket with some floral wire as well. It kind of already looks like a bird's nest. I have several of these, different kinds that I've picked up at thrift stores. So I just attached that to the bottom at an angle, and we're going to fill it up in just a little bit. Now I'm going to add some more greenery. Okay, I kind of hate to do this, but I definitely want that green to continue around the bottom, but I don't necessarily want to use the whole thing because I want to use some of this in a coordinating arrangement over here. So I hate to do this, but I'm just going to cut this in half. I don't think it's a big deal. I can always wire them together if I need it, or buy some more. They're not really expensive if you can get them 50% off. So I'm going to cut a piece of this off and add it to there to fill in that space. And then I also have these, which I got, let's see, I think I got all of these at Michael's on sale a couple weeks ago. Yeah, these are $5.99. I just love these. They're really pretty light and springy, and I apologize for the lighting in here. It is terribly gloomy and rainy outside. So making the best of what I have here. So I love these. I love their little leaves. They look so real, and they just have some variation. Ignore the paint on my hands, you guys. I always have paint on my hands. And then these I also got at Michael's, $9.99. And I will tell you this powdery white look that's on here is really pretty, but it sheds. There's a lot of fallout. So if you have any kind of allergies, you may want to shake these off outside after you buy them. Anytime I move them or anything, they just, see, it looks like snow. It's crazy. So anyway, they're really pretty though, and I like the little white, I guess they're like little berries or something, little, I don't know what they are. Little flower buds, whatever they're supposed to be. I think they're really cute. So again, they were $9.99, and I think I got them anywhere from 50 to 70% off. I usually buy these when I have an extra coupon. So those were from Michael's as well. And then I've had these for a year or so. I can't remember where I got them. Probably Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I know they have some of these at Walmart as well for a few bucks. Maybe $2 actually. Anyway, these are great. I like to have a lot of these to fill in. So we're going to be using all of these different colors of green. So I'm going to start with that and fill in the space. Okay, I added a few of that type of greenery, just little pieces of it. I actually already had some that were cut apart, so I don't know if I like that, but I'm going to leave it because it will add some more dimension. So I'll start with that, and now we're going to add these. I don't want to cut these, so I'm going to try to wrap them around and just tuck that in through the grapevine so I don't have to cut them. The second garland that I had, I cut part of it and finished out the wreath, and then I cut the other little piece in half again, and I tucked some of it right here in this basket, and that's going to be the base of, I'm going to build a little bird's nest in here. And you can see on the wreath I have that garland, those long stems, and they have a little bit of a light blue on them. And then the bushel that I showed you that shed a lot, I cut it into pieces and placed them around the wreath. And it looks really pretty. This isn't really coming across so great on film. It looks kind of like a hot mess, but it does look pretty in person. You can see here, I have the nest, it's kind of at an angle, and then I've built up these stems to kind of be flowering out a little bit heavier on one side. And then a little more simply, I am thinking about taking these out and putting lamb's ear in there. I don't know. They just don't look right to me. So I may try that and see how that looks. I did decide to remove this, and I replaced it with some lamb's ear, and I think it looks a lot better. And the palette makes more sense for what I'm doing here for spring. And again, sorry about the lighting. I'm having to use a bright LED light to try to make this more visible because it is dark and gloomy and raining outside again. So as you can see here, I've added 2 different kinds of moss. I've had some of this more brown moss and this brighter green moss. So I mixed those 2 together with this other green and I've made a nest here. So that's the base of it so far. And I've added these spriggy, wispy pieces from Hobby Lobby greenery bushes that I love to use. And I'm keeping it heavier on this side, so it's sort of wisping out that way and then wisping up this way like this. So I like that instead of doing it the entire way around because we're going to have some other things here and more weight on this side. So I'm sort of keeping this weighted on this side. So I'm just going to take these little flowers and add them to this side and add more color and weight to the left side. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it heavier on this side to balance out what I'm going to do on the right side. So I'm going to add those and then we'll keep going. Here it is with a little bit of yellow. I'm liking that. I'm trying to decide if I want to add maybe some lavender or orange or pink. I'm not really sure. I'm thinking of keeping it fairly neutral except for that little bit of yellow until we get closer to Easter, and then I might bring in those brighter colors. But for now I'm liking it the way it is. It's always easy to add things at the end, so let's keep going with this vignette and we can tweak it as we go. I'm going to be adding these birch logs that I got from Lowe's. I love the colors of them, but you guys, this step-by-step decorating thing would have taken so long to film and this video would have been really long. So I went ahead and decorated. Let me show you how it turned out. I'm really loving how all of these colors are definitely pulled from my inspiration painting. I loved how everything turned out. I may tweak on it a little bit. I usually do that with my vignettes until I'm 100% happy with them, but I absolutely love the wreath and all of these colors. I love the birch logs and the textural element that they add to the vignette, and those books are from a DIY Valentine video that I will share in the description box below. There's our pedestal bird's nest, which I think's adorable. That tall candlestick was thrifted for $1.75. It was half of $3.50. That little pot is from Michael's from, I think, last year. And I love this little bird cage. I just put some moss and candles in there. That fabric that I used to break up the black marble with is from Hobby Lobby. I'm obsessed with that color yellow, and I think it helps tie in the yellow flowers that I put in the wreath. I really hope you enjoyed this Dollar Tree DIY Bird's Nest Pedestal tutorial, and I hope you also found some inspiration from this portion of my spring decorating series. As always, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. I have so much more to share with you. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so and make sure you turn on the notifications and make sure you select the all option so that you'll always know when I post a new video. Don't forget to like this video as well if you did and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.